Sean "Diddy" Combs. Once a name synonymous with luxury, power, and hip-hop royalty. The mogul behind Bad Boy Records, the man who discovered Biggie, the face of Ciroc vodka, and a staple of every red carpet. For decades, Diddy was untouchable, the ultimate success story. A kingmaker. A billionaire. A legend. But today, that story has flipped. What was once a glowing legacy is now unraveling in real time, and it's happening fast. Because behind the glitz, behind the parties, and behind the diamond-encrusted sunglasses, there may have been something far more sinister hiding in plain sight. It all came crashing down on March 25, 2024. No one saw it coming. Not the media. Not the fans. Not even those inside Diddy's camp. It started with two coordinated raids, one in Los Angeles, one in Miami. Federal agents from Homeland Security swarmed Diddy's mansions like something out of a crime thriller. They weren't knocking politely. They were storming in. Tactical gear. Weapons. Boxes labeled evidence. Drones circling the skies. The internet exploded. What could be serious enough to justify a full-blown federal raid on one of the most powerful men in entertainment? No one knew for sure, not yet. But when agents started wheeling out hard drives, sealed boxes, and camera equipment, it was clear. This wasn't about a simple charge. This was deep. Hours passed. No statement. No denial. No explanation. But online, people began to connect the dots, and it all led back to one woman. Cassie.
Final question, is there anything that you may want to confess tonight before you go in?
I keep everything right here. There you go. Or right here.
In November 2023, the world was rocked when Cassie Ventura, singer, dancer, and Diddy's former longtime girlfriend, filed a lawsuit that blew the doors off Diddy's carefully curated public image. She didn't just accuse him of cheating or emotional manipulation. No, her lawsuit painted a picture of a man obsessed with control. A man who allegedly drugged her, beat her, trafficked her, and forced her into situations that were sickening. She claimed Diddy would bring in strangers for her to have sex with while he watched. That he'd film her. That she was a prisoner in her own life. And just like that, the case was settled. Less than 24 hours after the filing, it was gone. Disappeared into the darkness with a confidential settlement. No details. No trial. Just silence. But that silence didn't last. After Cassie, others stepped forward. Women, and men, with stories that echoed the same themes: coercion, abuse, manipulation, trafficking. Several filed lawsuits. Others spoke out anonymously. All of them claimed to be lured by the same bait: fame, opportunity, wealth, and trapped in a nightmare they couldn't escape from. One woman said she was drugged and held in a hotel room for days. Another claimed she was forced to sign an NDA after being violently assaulted. A former dancer said she saw cameras hidden in bedrooms at Diddy's private parties. And those parties? They were no ordinary events. Allegedly, they were playgrounds for the powerful, carefully curated environments where guests were stripped of phones, intoxicated, and sometimes recorded without their knowledge. That's when federal agents got involved. Because once you start talking about trafficking, coercion across state lines, and potential organized criminal behavior, it's not just a civil issue. It becomes a matter for the Department of Justice. For Homeland Security. For serious federal prosecution, and so, quietly, behind the scenes, a case was being built. A case that led to those March 25 raids. What they found in those homes? Still largely sealed. But what we do know is chilling. Investigators seized computers, encrypted phones, financial records, surveillance tapes, even internal security footage from inside the Miami estate. Sources close to the investigation say some of that footage was deeply disturbing, showing individuals who appeared to be under the influence, unaware they were being filmed. Some of the recordings, according to leaks, could lead to criminal charges depending on consent and context, then came the courtroom. Diddy's legal team entered swinging. They painted the entire case as a smear campaign. They said he was being extorted, targeted because he's rich and powerful. They called the allegations twisted fiction and claimed the lawsuits were filled with holes. But behind closed doors, the courts weren't buying it. The judge refused to throw out the key cases. And then, witness testimony began. One of the first to speak was a former bodyguard, appearing anonymously for safety reasons. He described the Combs mansions as places of strict control. He said women were flown in, often drunk or high, and kept in guest houses with no access to phones. He said he once saw Diddy physically assault a guest during an argument, then pay her to stay silent. That same woman was flown out the next day on a private jet, and never seen again. Another former employee described NDAs being handed out like party favors. Guests were required to sign them before entering Diddy's homes, not just for privacy, but to protect what she called the secrets. She testified that she was asked to delete footage more than once. Footage that, in her words, should have been given to the police. Financial records submitted to the court revealed something else: suspicious payments. Tens of thousands of dollars, often labeled vaguely as consulting or travel, going to individuals who later claimed abuse. One of the most shocking revelations came when prosecutors claimed to have found an offshore account tied to a shell company, allegedly used to pay hush money to victims and staff. If proven true, that could become the smoking gun in a criminal case. Because now, it's not just about abuse. It's about cover-ups, conspiracy, organized silencing. And now, there's talk that Diddy may not have acted alone. According to sources inside the investigation, several names have surfaced: assistants, managers, party promoters, even other celebrities. No one has been charged, yet. But prosecutors are looking closely at individuals who may have helped recruit, transport, or conceal what was happening behind those mansion gates. And that's where the web gets tangled. Because this isn't just about Diddy. It's about an entire culture of silence. Of power. Of people who allegedly knew, and said nothing. Some reports say federal agents are quietly reaching out to artists who were close to Diddy, not as suspects, but as witnesses. People who might have seen too much. Or heard whispers. Or were paid to keep quiet. Names like Usher, Justin Bieber, Jay-Z, French Montana, no one is accused, but all have been connected socially or professionally to Diddy's inner circle. And the feds want to know, who knew what, and when. Meanwhile, Diddy remains quiet. He hasn't posted. He hasn't done interviews. His lawyers are handling everything. And behind the scenes, sources say he's selling assets, fast. Several of his homes are quietly up for sale. A yacht linked to one of the alleged incidents was recently docked, emptied, and listed off-market. It's starting to look like a man preparing for something big. Something permanent. As of now, the trial is ongoing. The judge has approved several more witnesses. The sealed evidence, including digital files and video, is still under review. Forensic tech teams are combing through every byte, every deleted message, every encrypted folder. And there are whispers that an indictment may be coming. A criminal one. Because this isn't just civil anymore. If even a fraction of what's been alleged can be verified by the digital evidence, it becomes a federal case. The kind where prison is on the table. The kind where legacies collapse. And as the world watches, the question becomes, how did we miss it? Was it the fame? The money? The influence? How did someone this powerful, this visible, allegedly operate in plain sight for so long? And if he goes down, who goes with him? This isn't just the fall of a music mogul. This could be the beginning of an industry-wide reckoning. The walls are closing in. The silence is breaking. And the truth, whatever it is finally coming out. Let us know your thoughts below. Is this karma? A takedown? Or the unraveling of something even bigger than one man? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for the latest on this case. We'll be here, covering every leak, every witness, and every twist, because trust us, this story is far from over. Hollywood hype.